Welcome to the Toni Cooper Cast. Experience stories, life lessons, and teaching moments. Join us as we inspire you to be your authentic self. All right, welcome to the Toni Cooper Show, where you are part of the cast. You know, if you have questions and you want to share your life lessons, please feel free to message us. We'd love to share your story or even have you on our podcast and have some fun. So part of the cast today is this wonderful woman that I met. I'm going to change her name for the purpose of today, but she was the CEO and still is the CEO of a federal agency. So her actual title is the chief of a federal agency. And we're going to call her, what should we name her today? What do you guys think? How about Mary? Sound good? So Mary, when she first hired my company, she had came to me and she had said, Toni, she says, we have a really negative culture here and we need to fix it. All right, well, great. Let's look and figure out why there's negative culture. Let's kind of explore it a little bit more and see what happens. And she goes, no, you don't get it. The negative culture is caused by one person, and my goal is to get you to make her quit. She goes, we're in the federal government. You just can't let them go. So is there a way to get her to quit? Talking about shock and awe. So I said, so you're hiring me to basically fire somebody. And she goes, no. I just want you to help her realize that she can retire now. Okay, well, that's going to be interesting. Let's see what happens. Now, this company is not, just to be clear, they're not headquartered in Michigan. This is in another state that I was dealing with and working with. So if you guys are going, oh, that's my company, it's not. Trust me. Okay. And so what ended up happening was we first started, and the first thing we did was we went into the organization and we met with a bunch of the leaders. And we had conversations. What is it that is working well within your division? What is not going well? And then we met with them one-on-one. So we had these face-to-face, one-on-one sessions, and we talked with them to find out what is it that they really feel. How do you really feel about the people you work with, about the job that you do? What are the positives? What are the negatives? Where are the opportunities? What are the strengths? And so we went through those, and there was a consistency that happened. There was a consistency that everybody loved their job, their actual work that they had to do. They really enjoyed it. The difficulty was, for some reason, the leadership, the team, not just the high-ups, but everybody that was in a leadership role, just did not know how to work together. Now, I know you've all been there, right? You've all been there. You get put into a team, and sports team, school team, family, who knows? You've all been there. And here's what happens. You all get together. You think it's going to be great. We're going to win championships. We're going to do this. And suddenly you just don't mesh. You just don't mesh. Well, this was this group. But guess what? They're stuck together. They're all in leadership roles. They all have to do their job. And if they want their company to go well, they're going to have to figure out how to work together. Now, they're a fairly new team, so it's not like they've been together for 10 years and it's been like this for a long time. So here's what ends up happening. After interviewing each individual and after interviewing the whole team as a whole, the disconnect was that they just did not know how to communicate. They just truly did not know how to communicate. And when I say they did not know how to communicate, I'm going to give you the extreme, because to me this was extreme. It's not anymore. I'm learning more and more and more. And anybody that has kids, you would have felt like a parent right now. So here's what ends up happening. Jan doesn't like Joe because Joe doesn't speak to her. Joe only emails. So whenever Joe has an issue, all he ever does is email. And that's rude and disrespectful, so I won't even talk to Joe, and I won't even answer Joe's emails. That's Jan's opinion. Okay? All right. So if Joe sends you a real email about work, you don't answer it? No, if it says from Joe, I don't even open it anymore because I don't like that all he ever does is send me an email. Okay? Joe says, I don't have any problem with Jan. I just wish she would answer my emails. All right, not bad there. Okay, we got it. Okay, now we'll go to the next people. You ready for this one? Now we have Jeff. I don't know why I'm all using all J's today, but let's go with it. So now we have Jeff. And Jeff comes along and he says, I don't like Mary. Mary, remember, she's the head. I don't like Mary because in one sentence she says she likes what I do. In the very next sentence, she doesn't like what I do, and it's ridiculous. All right, so I felt like we're dealing with these little squabbling siblings that just don't get along. You've all been there, right? Where you want to take your kids and say, everybody go to a corner and come back when you can get along. That's what I really wanted to do, right? Or even school. Those of you that are teachers, you know what I'm talking about, where you're like, all right, everybody just stop. Stop everything you're doing. Let's figure out how are we going to get along today. Okay? And that's essentially, I was a school counselor / parent / leadership trainer to this group. The story gets better. I meet with Mary and I say, Mary, I need to let you know that I don't know if Carrie is really the issue. That's the one that she wanted to quit. She wanted her to quit because she couldn't fire her. I don't really know if Carrie is really the issue here. I said, I don't know if, I can't put my finger on it, but I don't think Carrie is the one that you need to let go or quit. And she looks at me with this face like, what are you talking about? I'm not wrong. I know this. I've been in this role a long time. She didn't say any of that, but you could tell in her face she was thinking it. She looks at me and she goes, well, then who is the problem? You ready for this? I looked at her and I said, do you really want to know? She goes, yeah. I said, well, I got to tell you. I said, the one thing that I've always believed in working with companies and working with leaders is to be completely honest and transparent. And if you don't like it, you're welcome to tell me to go. I'm okay with that. She goes, no, I can handle it. I said, are you sure? She goes, yeah. Is it Jan or is it Joe or is it Jeff or who is it? I said, well, have you ever looked in the mirror? And she goes, yeah, I have. And I said, and who is it that you see in the mirror? And she goes, me. I said, yeah, that's the one that you need to fire. And she goes, what? Now, I can't remember anything she said after that because I cannot believe I was bold enough and courageous enough to say that, first and foremost, because this was quite a few years ago. But I did tell her that. I said, you're the one. I said, you are the toxic person in this group. And after she got over it, was a little bit mad, and we all calmed down, I said, let me explain. Now, how many of you have ever been there? Because that's a scary place to be. It's very scary to look at somebody in the eye and say, you are the problem. That's my biggest thing. I think it's one of the most important things is that if we can't be authentic and transparent with people, then who are we? Especially in the job that I do. I mean, I'm working with these leaders trying to help their companies grow. I'm working with my kids trying to develop my children, working with my husband to create family. If we can't be transparent, then who can we be? Right? That was a life lesson for me because you remember there was a few podcasts before we talked about the mirror. Well, let me tell you, I went into the bathroom, I looked in the mirror and said, can I do this? Can I tell her? And yeah, I can, because that's who we need to be. So after all the dust settles, she looks at me and she goes, all right, well, what's the issue? I said, well, let's talk about this. I said, you have a very toxic environment. You got a bunch of siblings all quarreling right now. A bunch of leaders that this person doesn't like this person doesn't like this person. I go, but I don't really think that's the issue. I don't think that it has anything to do with them not liking each other. I said, I think they don't understand each other. They haven't had the opportunity, and you have not given them the opportunity to really understand each other. They're so overworked. They're so tired. They have so many projects in their calendar that they don't really have the time to say, let's learn. She looks at me with the biggest, happiest, most confident face, and she goes, well, I hired you, didn't I? Aren't you supposed to fix that? And I said, you made the best choice you could have made because we are going to fix it. We are going to work together. I said, but it's going to start with you. So before I even meet with the rest of these groups, let's start with you. Let's talk about what you can do as a leader to get your team where you want them to be. You as a leader, what can you do to get your team where they want to be? Think about that sentence that I just said. Think about your own life. What is it that you can do to get your team, your business, your career, your job, your family where you want them to be or where they all want to be? What is it you can do? So we did sit down, and it does have a happy ending story. Matter of fact, I still have a very strong relationship with this individual. Um, she's an amazing leader. Actually, she's been moved up into other positions, and she's doing phenomenally well. But imagine if I would have said that, and she would have walked away, stomped her feet, and basically fired me. Well, for me, you know what? She didn't want less life lessons. She didn't want to grow, so that's okay on my part, you know. But what about her and her team? It probably would have fallen apart. And instead of people retiring instead of people getting fired, they would have looked and said, can I take early retirement? Or can I quit? Or can I get transferred? Now, don't get me wrong. This wasn't fixed in a day. This is a period of 2.5 years of working with them, developing, growing with them, holding them accountable, holding each of the people, teaching them how when Joe only does email because he's very, very detail oriented and his emails are pretty lengthy and he wants to make sure everybody gets all the information. So what we did was we tell Joe, send an email to Jan, who likely is not going to read every single word because she's not the detail oriented type. I said, but then follow up with a phone call to summarize it so that if she wants to go back and read the email, she can. So teaching them how to communicate, learning one another, understanding each other, that's the process that we had to do. Okay? So in every story, in every situation, there is a life lesson. And for me, this life lesson here was, it's not about you. It's not even about them. It's about being authentic. It's about being transparent. If you cannot tell somebody the honest truth, then what are you doing? Okay? Then what are you doing? Think about it as leaders. How many times have you looked at an employee and said, you're doing great, but, hey, I like your work, but. All right, listen, we are in a no buts zone. There are no buts allowed in our sentences. There are no buts because buts just make it negative. It's really, you're not being truthful. You're a great employee, but I need to fire you. That's not going to work, right? You're a great employee, but you just need to come on time more often. All right, look, you're just lying to them. Okay? So true leadership in every sense of the word, and when I mean leadership, I'm talking about leading your family, leading yourself, leading, your team, leading your group, whatever it is. Role model is what we can call it, right? Being a role model. True leadership is being truthful and honest in the nicest way possible. Now, could I have said it differently to her? Do you look in the mirror? Probably. But for her, she needed direct conversation. She needed me to tell it to her direct. If I would have talked in circles, it would not have been effective. So for her, that's what she needed. But that's what it's about. Looking at individuals and saying, you need to come to work on time. We have a problem. How are we going to fix it? Do you see the difference? How are we together going to move forward? How are we going to do it? I'm not going to look at you and go, hey, you're a great person, but I don't like you. Because I'm just lying through my teeth. Okay? So effective leaders, effective family, parents, effective teachers, effective anybody who's a role model, students. You are effective when you can be truthful. So I'm not telling you to go to the world and say, I hate you, I don't like you. I'm telling you to look at an individual, be honest when they ask you, and then come alongside of them and work together. Come alongside. Now, I know what many of you are going to say. You're going in the comments and you're going to say, well, my wife asked me if she looked good in that outfit. And if I told her no, she is going to huff and puff into the closet. I'm going to tell you, she probably will huff and puff into the closet, but she'll change her clothes and she'll come back and she'll look great. And so you've actually helped her. Now, if you're my husband and you're listening, you're welcome to do that. And yes, I will huff and puff into the closet and probably change my clothes 10 times to figure out what works. But I'll be happier if I feel good in it. So there's another sentence, right? Do you feel good in your outfit? I do. Then I love it. If you do, right? If they feel good, and that's what it's about. So that's what honesty is all about. Telling somebody how you really feel, telling somebody what's really going on, but then working with them, coming alongside of them to fix it, improve it, or whatever it is that you need to do. Mm-hmm. So I just want to be clear on that. Okay. The biggest life lesson that I learned is from this wonderful lady, Mary, who has since gone on to be a phenomenal leader. She has an amazing team, and here's the funniest part of it all. That Carrie that she wanted to take early retirement actually moved up in her role. It wasn't me that did it. I didn't do it. Mary brought her alongside and said, I'm going to train you. I'm going to work with you. I'm going to teach you. And ended up helping this Carrie move up into another role, into a higher level leadership role. And just last year, she retired. So she stayed in that role for, I think 7, don't quote me, but 7 more years, okay, in a high level leadership role, doing wonderfully well, got great reviews, and has since now retired. What if I lied? What would have happened if I would have lied to that leader? Said, yeah, you're right, Carrie is the problem. It would have turned out completely different for her and for the team. So my life lesson for you is to be honest when you can. Not even when you can, always, okay? But be honest in a nice way. Come together with people and work together as a team to go to the next step. Okay? It's not about you. It's not about them. It's about us. And what can we do in an authentic way to make us the best team we possibly can? Whether we're talking about your family, whether we're talking about your sports team, or whether we're talking about your business. What as a business can we do to come together as a team to grow? And to go in there and say, guess what? What we have right now isn't working. So we need to fix it. Mm-hmm. That's what I leave you with today. Now again, if you want to join our cast and you have a life lesson that you want to share, or you want to tell us how you had an experience of being authentic and what went well or what didn't go well, we want to hear from you. So please feel free to message us at any time, and you may show up on our next podcast. Thank you all for joining us. Have a fantastic day. Thank you for joining us. Tune in next week for more inspirational stories. And always, remember, keep on smiling.